She says no. No, sorry, I'm not interested. What's the worst case scenario at that point? What happens? What happens? Do you shrink an inch? Do you lose? Like, does your hairline recede an inch? Does money like fall out of your bank account? What happens? Please. So I have minus 1,000 aura. No, that's not a thing. The aura is lost, okay? And if she says yes, how much aura is gained? Please. You'd rather hold your dignity? You ain't holding no lady in your bed because you scared you holding your dignity because you ain't getting no play if you not approaching nobody.
I just need to know from a men's perspective, are y'all waiting on girls to talk to you first? Like, are you waiting on a girl to ask you on a date first? Because that's crazy to me. Like, when you're out in public and you're making eyes with a girl and you're like making it known that you're attracted to her, but you're not gonna say something, how are you not gonna say something? Where are the huevos? Where are the huevos these days? I feel like there's so many like times that guys want to say something to girls and they don't. Like, is there a guy watching this that can give us some insight? Like, why don't you just do it?
Hey guys, I'm Jay Randall and welcome back to my channel where I discuss wisdom for the modern man. As I'm sure you're all aware, there has been a huge cultural shift in the dating game. Men in mass have stopped approaching women, and women are losing their minds. There are so many videos on TikTok right now of women complaining that men have stopped approaching. And many of them, like you saw in the intro, are shaming men for not approaching, calling them weak, you're scared, what are you afraid of? Which I find hilarious considering that women rarely ever approach men, if ever. Well, we have a woman here in the video we're about to react to who decided to shoot her shot. And her experience changed her perspective on why it is men feel the way they do about approaching women. So without further ado, let's get right into the video.
I think I owe the men of the world an apology. Let me explain before you come in my comments. I always think to myself, why don't men just approach women? Why? It's not that hard. Just say hi. Just say hi. Your hair is pretty. It's not that hard, right? Well, last night I learned it is hard, okay? And let me tell you what happened. So I'm just sitting at the bar with my buddies, just having a fun time, and in walked some men who were attractive. One in particular, I was like, wow, he's very handsome. So I'm chatting with my friends who are all male in this conversation. I'm like, what do I do? Because I don't really approach men ever, but I also don't ever get approached. So anyway, I'm thinking to myself, how bad could it be? So they suggest I send him a drink. And I'm like, brilliant. Oh my gosh, I've never done that before. That's so smart. So I sent him his drink of choice, which was a Corona with lime. Whatever, should have known. Anyway, so some time goes by and he has not acknowledged that I've sent this drink. So I'm like, okay, I guess I'll just go over there. I walk up and I say, hey, how's your beer? You know, I like bat my eyelashes, you know, and he looks at me and he goes, oh, you sent this? Yeah, I did. It was me. And then he said nothing. 0 words exchanged. And you know that gif of Britney Spears where she's like holding her purse and she's just standing there looking around like this? That was me in real life.
Look, I find it hilarious that she actually found that to be a harsh rejection. As a guy who spent his early 20s doing cold approach, part of the game is getting rejected. You're not going to get good if you don't get rejected. It's part of the learning curve. And I could tell you, after doing hundreds of cold approaches, that women give the harshest rejections hands down. Like, there's just no comparison. They'll give you a dirty look. They'll say, ew, gross. They'll just walk away, not say anything. And yeah, even after you do a kind gesture like buying them a drink, which is why I advocate that men don't do that. Approach her. If you're feeling the vibe, if you actually feel like she's super into you, then maybe if you want to, you can buy her a drink. But leading with value and not knowing if she's actually into you, what response you're going to get is just throwing away your money. But that was actually a very mild rejection. And already I can tell she can't handle it.
And we just stared at each other. And I said, okay, enjoy your night. And then I had to turn around and march my way back to my little bar stool, just wrapped in rejection. And now I have to think about that for the rest of my life. So, gentlemen, I'm sorry. That shit sucked.
That is hilarious. And like I said, that's not even the worst possible outcome. What's the worst that could happen? For men, we have so much more to fear. Back in the day, it used to just be, the fear of rejection and, potentially getting embarrassed. Nowadays, it's far more than just getting rejected. A guy can handle rejection. What men are really afraid of nowadays is public disrespect, trying to embarrass them, because girls will go out of their way to embarrass you for, I guess, attention or to feel like they're attractive. They get a high off of rejecting guys a lot of the time. And on top of that, men have to fear women secretly recording the interaction only to post it online for thousands, if not millions of people to view later. So now you have to relive that embarrassing moment for the rest of your life because millions of people have viewed it. It's happened so many times, and this is what men are actually afraid of. All right? Not only do women not appreciate it, they punish the men who often, have the courage to go up and approach them. So what's my stance on men approaching women? Well, there's two parts to it. Because like I mentioned earlier, I spent my early to mid-20s doing a lot of cold approach, which is why I got so good at dealing with women and had a lot of great experiences, which is why I'm able to even have this channel and understand women so well. So here's my thing when it comes to approaching women. On one hand, I understand why men don't want to do it, right? Oftentimes, the return on investment isn't great. Women can be very disrespectful. And, it's just the fear of getting publicly shamed or recorded and then, embarrassed for millions of people. That fear is real. I'm not going to say that it's not. So men have a valid reason to not want to approach women anymore. However, on the other hand, I do think it's important for men to spend at least a portion of their early years approaching women. And here's why. When you approach women, you learn very valuable skill sets. You learn to communicate effectively. You gain confidence. You gain communication skills. You learn the art of seduction. Now, all of this is very important, and you're going to need it later on because eventually, at some point, you might want a girl. And there's no quicker, more effective way to understand women than approaching like hundreds of them, It is really, truly a skill set that you can carry through life. And it also helps you in other areas of your life when it comes to communication, like business and just understanding people in general, being able to read the room, being able to read body language. It's a very effective tool that you just carry on through life, and it helps you in many areas. The second reason why I think men should approach women is because the alternative is dating apps. Now, as we all know, dating apps do not work for a lot of men. A lot of men have terrible success when it comes to dating apps. So handing off your entire dating life to an algorithm is not a good idea. Most men get like little to no matches. And even the ones who do get matches, it doesn't really end up in going anywhere. We've seen plenty of videos of men breaking down, how many swipes they had to do to get one match, then how many, messages they had to send only for it not to even go anywhere. I don't want that to be your life. I want you to have the power in your own hands. And if you have the skill set of being able to just go up to any woman, shoot your shot, you have some game, you understand body language, you understand social dynamics, that gives you more control over your dating life as opposed to handing it over to an algorithm that is going to mostly judge you on your looks. Whereas if you approach in person, you have more leeway, you have more sway in how that goes, because it's not solely just the looks that's going to dictate your results. So that's my reasons for that. I understand why men don't want to do it. Trust me, I get it. There's a lot of risk involved, especially in the modern dating scene, but it's still a valuable skill to have nonetheless. So that's my take on it, guys. Let me know in the comment section what you think about men approaching. I found this video absolutely hilarious, because what's funny? She only did one approach, and she was done. That's it. That's all it took for her, and that's it. What's the worst that could happen? And one approach was enough for her to tap out. Hey, my bottom line, takeaway from this is like, women have no grounds to lecture men on approaching or not approaching, because you guys don't get it. You guys don't get it. You don't do it, so you have no leg to stand on. You don't know how bad it could get. How could you? You don't do it. And of the ones who do, they tap out after one try. You know how many approaches I've done in my life? Good Lord, I've lost count. But hey, guys, let me know what you think in the comment section. And until next time, guys, take it easy.